The music has begun, and so has Three Guys Before the Game. Hey, everybody, welcome in. It is time for another episode of Three Guys Before the Game. We struggled for a title, so we thought we would go with something that was edgy. Pretty much not true, but the heck with it. Portal Gone Wild. Portal Gone Wild. Welcome in. Three Guys Before the Game with Hoppy Kercheval, Dr. Hoppy Kercheval, and the Senator Brad Howe. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By GoMart. Get a GoMart rewards card and immediately begin saving on food and fuel. Go to gomart.com for details or download the GoMart app. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. All right, we have come together here early Monday morning to chat Mountaineer football, Mountaineer basketball. WVU's basketball team has completed the non-conference portion of its schedule. 67-46 final over the visiting Lakers of Mercyhurst yesterday afternoon at the Coliseum. Crowd of over 9,700 on hand. We'll talk about that coming up. Also, the weekend was busy for Mountaineer football. No, they did not play in a game, right? Bowl season's over for them. They already played. Yeah. But you have the transition with a capital T that is taking place. Players continue to enter their name, or had entered their name up until closure, into the portal. And now you've got players coming. You've got players leaving. You've got players coming in on visits this weekend to West Virginia. And you've got former Mountaineer players going out and making visits. So we'll get into all of that. But first, congratulations again on the doctorate. Received a lot of people over the weekend when it was happening. Hey, I'm here in the Coliseum. Hoppy just got the doctorate. I'm sure you guys are here. A lot of guys.
We were there?
Mm-hmm. Get a few of those.
I was invited.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get an invite on that. I didn't know if you could go.
I didn't think you'd want to come.
I didn't know.
Well, it was awesome.
It was a wonderful event.
Sure.
It was really wonderful, and I'm very appreciative, and it was very nice.
Did you have dinner at the president's house the night before?
I did, Friday night.
Did you steal any silverware on your way out?
Hey, all my time here, I had never been to the Blaney house. Ever.
Like, you've never gotten a call, like, ever, to say, hey, come here, I need to talk to you.
No. And it's
Ever?
Never. So it was really wonderful. Thanks to WVU, thanks to President Gee, and it was my fellow honorees who received diplomas. It was nice. I didn't go to my own graduation, and I finally got to a graduation.
You didn't go to your own graduation?
Did not.
But you were at this one. You wore the hat, too, right? You
wore the hat, yeah.
You get to keep that?
No, you have to turn that back in.
Any Three Guys mentions while you're walking?
I didn't get any Three Guys. But I did spend some quality time with a lot of good people. Spent some quality time with Rick Pill.
Sure. President of the Board of Governors. Yeah. Attorney. Martinsburg.
Big supporter of WVU. Hung out with him.
But wait a second on that Three Guys thing. Someone told me that when they introduced you, they mentioned that among they did, Brad.
It was in the bio.
They mentioned it among his many, many accomplishments is I think the way he wrote it, he was the founder creator of Three Guys.
That's not what it says.
I think that's what they said.
Received a diploma along with Tomas Rimac, Jaquay Hubbard.
Sure.
Yeah, those guys.
Did you dap those guys up?
Did you get a chance to say hi to Jaquay?
No, because I wish I had, but just the way it is.
You were up on stage and they were in the cheap seats?
No, it really was a nice ceremony. I'm very appreciative. It was nice.
All right. Why did you bring a large book?
Well, because
he's now has a doctorate. So he just carries big, large books everywhere he goes. Every meeting, every show, dinner. When he goes to get coffee, he just carries big books.
Yeah. So it makes it look like I'm doing something. Because, Tony, the book is entitled...
Big book.
Hey, that's the first time you've ever had a guy holding a big book composition of that shot next to a Tudor's Biscuit World Cup. Look at the shot, Brad. Good shot.
Color schemes match.
Okay, you got Basic Economics and Tudors.
The book is Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell, the respected economist. And everybody now, Brad, is getting a lesson in college football in basic economics. Let me read you a couple quick lines here. This is what Thomas Sowell said. Life does not ask what you want. It presents options. Options. Economics is one of the ways to try to make the most of these options, okay? Let me read a second part to you real quick. In a market economy, those who get the direct benefit of an individual's work decide how much they are prepared to pay. So we are getting a lesson in market economics, and that is, Brad, let's say that you want to play at a particular school, and you think you're worth X. And the school says, no, I think you're worth Y. And then you got a decision to make, right? It's like, okay, do I accept Y, or do I use my options and go see if I can do better someplace else? Or do I decide, no, probably Y is okay and I'll do Y? Or does the school decide, well, we can probably come up with some more money. So this is what's happening. This is basic economics that's happening. And if you look at it in its purest form, it has nothing to do with emotion, nothing to do with, boy, he's a swell guy, or
swell. Called him swell.
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the school, how much it is willing to pay and how much it can afford, and on the participant side, what they think they're worth and how those things match up. That's exactly what's going on. It's new to this. It's new to this business, which is what it is now, but that is what's taking place.
Very well said. It's only kind of new to this business. We've been doing with coaches forever.
Well, yes.
This is how coaches and agents and ADs have had to operate for how many years. It's just now into the player pool. And I think that's a great description. That's exactly what's happening. And listen, when there's change, there's going to be change across the entire program. It's not just a change of a head coach and a coaching staff. And the university decided to make a change, and that triggered change throughout this roster. So, yeah, I think that's again, extremely well said. And you do have to try and remove emotion from this, because there's a couple ways to look at that. There's that from the player's side. What is their value and where can they get the most value? And they're going to explore that. The same time, Rich Rodriguez in particular and the rest of the coaching staff, as it continues to be formed, is doing that same value proposition. Where can we go out and replace somebody for maybe less money or a different position that we feel is more valuable than what is currently on roster? So there's all kinds of change, and that happens. And that's part of why proponents of the transfer portal and NIL payments wanted it available for players rather than having guys that were stuck on a roster when the coaching staff maybe didn't want them there and wanted to do their own thing. And I think that's what's being afforded to Rich Rodriguez right now is, okay, you're new, you want your own guys, then go get your own guys. Players are saying, you know what, I think I can go get some payment elsewhere, some benefit elsewhere. I'm going to go explore that. And that's why the portal has been the way it is. Now, it's starting to turn a little bit too. When there's change, what happens first? The exodus comes first. Then you start to see backfilling. We'll talk about a couple guys that have committed to West Virginia here in the last day or so coming up here in just a bit. Yeah.
So the portal will go up until this Saturday, the 28th. It remains open. So I hope it doesn't impact anyone's Christmas. Like, you get that, hey, guess it's Christmas Eve. Like, families all coming in. All of a sudden, guess who just went in the portal? To your point.
Well, no, it's going to impact some Christmases because some people are signing for some big money places. They're going to have a nice Christmas here and elsewhere.
Forget about that Tonka truck. We brought yourself a Ford F-150.
Nice Tonka truck reference.
To your point, you're exactly right. I think, and we'll read some of the text later on in the program, a lot of people are dealing with this emotionally. And I can completely understand it because I think a lot of people still have the mindset that a person comes to a university, they embrace the university and what the university is all about, and you play for Old State U, and it's a great experience, and it's 4 years, and you watch them grow. And people are really emotionally attached to that. Absolutely. That's one of the great values, and we've seen through college sports. Unfortunately, and this is it is upsetting to people, that day is over. That day is over, okay? So to your point, Hoppy, these are straight business transactions from here on in. And if a school wants to play in this world of the Power Four, which West Virginia is a member of, whether you like it or not, that's what this is going to be. And it will turn and is turning off people And there will be others that will continue to support it. But the reality of it is that the teams that are being assembled at the Power 4 level are now basically professional teams that represent and play for the brand of the school. That's what this is. These are pro teams. Football and basketball are going to be paid, and you are representing the team that you're playing for is the school. That's how this thing is going to work. This is where we are right now. And yes, the crazy part of it is that you don't have the infrastructure in yet to give yourself a little bit more stability as far as roster management, because people can bolt. Unlike in the pros, at least you're signed to a 3-year contract or a 5-year deal. You know you've got them locked in. At least they're not going to bounce somewhere else. But that doesn't exist right now. So it's a little bit more wild, wild west. And as we've said, Brad, the market is still normalizing. Still really don't know. People are overspending for players right now.
Yes.
That maybe 5 years from now, you'll look back at it and go like, my goodness, you remember back in the days like the .com bubble before it burst. So a lot of that's going on right now, and this is where we are.
And you might see if nobody has a model yet, and guys, Brad, you might see like the pro model, some of it will become more performance-based or more long-term, those kinds of things. To try to create
it will,
stability.
but I think we're a ways from that, because until the players are able to unionize, you're not going to get any of that. Because you'll just go to court and say, well, hold on, that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So there's still a lot of changes coming to college sports here, but it's a ways away. But the other thing, guys, you got to remember, too, that we go through this every year. The portal feels bad when you're a fan of a team and you're in the stage West Virginia is, because you're only seeing guys leave and exit out. So it makes it feel as if it's working against you. When this starts to turn the other way and guys are starting to come in, it does provide some flexibility. And for coaches that are going to come in and run different systems and want to do their own thing, it provides flexibility. And you know where you need to look for that? Just look over there to the Coliseum and see how that has worked. Right? You were able to totally remake a roster that didn't have a lot of success last year and has turned that into a team that started off pretty well. Right? You remade the roster completely. Pre-portal, you would not have been able to do that. You would have had players on there that didn't necessarily fit what the new coach was trying to do. So sometimes that happens too. The flexibility is not all bad here. Now, does it provide an unstable environment early on? Absolutely it does. Is Rich going to have a heck of a lot of work to do? He may be in that 40, 50 range of players that he has to reacclimate to his system. That's just part of the deal. And that's what we said, though, guys, as we were heading down the stretch and there was talk about changing coaches, this is what you have to be prepared for. In college sports, if you're going to make coaching changes, you need to expect the bulk of your roster to change over as well. That's where West Virginia sits today.
Absolutely. I talked about the cold, dispassionate facts of basic economics. Now I'm going to go to the other side, the emotional part, because some of these players entering the portal for West Virginia, like Hudson Clement stands out. Because why? Because Huddy's a favorite, right? West Virginia kid, had a great state tournament, comes here, walks on, has a big game, gets a scholarship, was a leading receiver this year, and then has an exceptional game in the loss in the bowl game, has an exceptional game. So he is a fan favorite, a favorite son, fan favorite. And he's in the portal. Good for him. That's the environment now that we are in. But that hurts. As a fan, that hurts. We'd love to see Huddy stay here too, but you want the best for him, but you love to see Huddy Clement in a Mountaineer uniform. So that's the emotional part.
100%.
Yes, no doubt.
100%. And what's going to happen here at WVU?
I mean, we got to know we love his parents, his family. We got to know him.
Well, yeah, not only
we've lost our entertainment for the food court.
I was going to say, Rich isn't the only one trying to replace the receiver right
No,
there. We've got to replace
Mike.
entertainment. Yeah.
I mean, where do you go find a guy that can just play all night long that's really, really good?
Play every song and his family. So, yeah, this is a great point.
Yeah, I mean,
we're in the portal.
We befriended the family. The family's great. But, again, this is business. Remove heart, insert business model. The thing about West Virginia is in this midst, the portal closes this Saturday, 28. Then it reopens on April 16 for 10 days. Those 10 days potentially could be the most important 10 days for West Virginia, and here's why. So Rich is going to start off-season conditioning here next month, pretty soon, right? It'll happen really, really quick. And you get ready for spring, and then you have spring. there will be those that stay right now that at the end of that will want to depart. There will be those who will stay right now that Rich will want to depart.
Mm-hmm.
And then these 4 months up until April, you have a lot of eyes on other teams and their players. And there's conversations, maybe secondary or tertiary conversations.
Contact is made.
And you just say, hey, by the way, I know Hoppy is at State U. We would have a position him for him, and you have a better idea then. And so you might get a kid or 5 or 6, later after they go through spring ball that you bring in because now you really know what you need and what you think of what you have.
Yes.
So that could be also very important.
And also, you might, again, because it's economics, maybe you have to pay more for somebody because you need to fill a position, or maybe you get a bargain. Like somebody that just isn't going to get paid somewhere, or paid very much, and you think, boy, we like this guy, and he can fill a slot, and the guy will do better, and you get a deal.
Yeah.
Well, also the other thing, guys, too, remember, if we're talking about being cold and dispassionate here with what the market
we
dictates.
can do that. We can do that.
You're in year one, and if you're Rich, you're trying to do 2 things. One, you've got to fill the roster as well as get guys that can produce. So you were going to make some evaluation mistakes in year one, I would think, probably more so than as you move forward. The lack of contract from past the first year enable you to fix those mistakes going into year 2. So that's going to happen too. You might be through a couple years of some serious roster turnover here.
Mm-hmm. Saw that at Colorado, right?
And the second, so 60-some guys the first year, they came back the second year, another 50 or so, and it worked, right? They remade that roster completely over the course of 2 seasons, so that happens as well.
Yeah. I get it. I get both sides.
Yeah.
I get the
That's how it
emotional
works.
disappointment, but then I look at it from the new world that you're in with revenue sharing starting for the very first time, and it's what it is.
It's an adjustment because it is happening. It's happening rapidly. I mean, it feels slow because we've been talking about it forever, but it's really happening very rapidly when you consider how long college football's been around. So everybody is still adjusting.
And keep in mind that this is so much in a state of change. I mean, there's lawsuits that are out there that are constantly being, going through the system. There are possibilities for settlements and various laws. Rules will change. The NCAA will say, wait, and you could, at any day, you could see a new rule come up and go like, hey, starting now, it's this. Because
We just did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just saw it last week with JUCO being ruled
Yes.
that it doesn't count against your clock.
Wow.
That matters. I mean, there's current players on rosters. There's guys coming in. That changes how long you've got a guy.
Yeah. I talked to someone yesterday within the program. I said, how's Rich doing? Because you would think like, oh, he'd be walking around, his hands on top of his head. He goes, he's completely fine. He says, we got no problems. He said, I'm fine. He goes, I'm not worried about anything. We'll get players. He said, don't worry about it. We got them. So
Let's talk about that now. There's been a couple additions. You want to talk about the 2 new additions here that have come in?
Sure, go ahead.
Is this spreads on stats or not officially? This is like a bonus?
This
I'm
is
going to give you some
bonus.
numbers.
This is bonus.
I don't know how you would ever try to shoehorn in a player acquisition as a spreads on stats.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely spreads on stats because there's numbers.
You're going to give numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
This doesn't
Bonus.
count.
Bonus.
Bonus for Conley
from
CPA.
Conley CPA.
Excellent.
What do you got?
Okay, 2. Got a defensive player and an offensive player. Look, let's start with the corner on defense. Jordan Scruggs arrives from South Alabama, played 662 snaps last season. The aforementioned Colorado Buffaloes, one of the teams that reportedly offered to Mr. Scruggs. Second best defensive grade for South Alabama and their second best cover grade on that South Alabama team. So what we say, what's an immediate need on this team?
Right.
I mean, it's turned into all. I get it. All positions are an immediate need. But that defensive backfield has to add some dudes and has to up its production. And that could have been in your Hoppy's obvious observation segment, I realize. But there's one that's on board right now, Jordan Scruggs. A gentleman by the name of Fred Davis was in town yesterday to put a tweet out that he loved to stay here in Morgantown. He played for Jacksonville State, Hop, and we did that game the other day on radio. he really jumped out on screen. He was a guy that was pretty impressive. So we'll see if Fred Davis follows Rich Rod here as well. On the offensive side of the ball, Eastern Michigan wide receiver Orrin Singleton has said he is coming. This is one of the all-time great nicknames. You're going to like this.
Who is it?
Man Singleton. Man Singleton.
Well, it's a doggone shame
Day-Day
that
Farmer,
Day-Day Farmer left.
Yeah, Day-Day Farmer headed to UCF. In comes Man Singleton in his spot. He's a 5'9" slot, played 90% of his snaps in the slot, originally from Florida. Had the third best offensive grade last year for Eastern Michigan, had the second best receiving grade and the best for a wide receiver on that team. 65 catches, 639 yards, 2 touchdowns, second team All-MAC. He's a guy, we just mentioned that JUCO thing. Mm-hmm. He entered the portal thinking at 1 year of eligibility left. Maybe he's got another one. He played a year at Hutchinson Community College, so maybe he's available for a second year. But Man Singleton is in as a slot receiver for West Virginia. So there's a couple additions here over the last 12 or 14 hours.
Tony, you can start working on that for your calls.
Yeah, man.
Man, oh, man.
Man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man.
Good
also,
job, Red.
Coaching staff starting to be formalized. And one name that's not going to be coming to West Virginia is Rick Trickett. The Mountaineer offensive line coach from days gone by had been at Jacksonville State with Rich, and he is going to stay at Jacksonville State. Clint Trickett, the former Mountaineer quarterback, has been hired as the offensive coordinator at Jacksonville State.
Oh,
so
father and son.
Father and son. He coordinates, and Rick is going to do the offensive line. In fact, I'll have Rick on my sports talk program this evening, Monday night. It'll be good just to get him on, Brad. It's always good to hear Trick.
Always good.
Absolutely. So that's coming together. The report is nothing official yet, but Blaine Stewart will be retained on staff and will continue to work on the offensive side of the ball. Other than that, you're hearing names, but nothing yet. You had Rich on your show, and he said he kind of wanted to make it more of a presentation.
Yeah, he didn't throw many bones on that. He just said he wanted to roll out the names so that each one got some love and that each one was an individual story, so he didn't give me any names. But I don't know. That's great if Blaine Stewart's going to stay. Maybe Rashid will stay. Maybe Mike Joseph does a tremendous job with the strengths program. But and I thought, I think I asked him about Trickett, but now we know that Trickett's staying at Jacksonville State.
No, stay put. We'll talk with Rick coming up on Sportsline on Monday night. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales, the largest pontoon boat dealer in the state of West Virginia. One thing we do know, we don't know who they are yet, but each of the new Mountaineer assistant coaches will come to Morgantown via the Mon River on a Lou Wendell pontoon boat.
Are you sure about that?
Got confirmation, sort of. And they're going to be driving the pontoons from at the Avalon pontoon boat.
By the way, all the graduates came to the Coliseum.
Right up to the Coliseum, just came in on the Mon River.
Yeah, came in on the river.
I think the parking was easier in Westover. So they just brought them over Westover, Granville, just came right across pretty doggone quick. Lou Wendell Marine Sales is the premier pontoon boat dealer in the state of West Virginia. They've been in business now for almost 50 years. You can visit them on their website at LouWendellMarineSales.com. That's LouWendellMarineSales.com. And don't think for a second that the phones aren't just humming inside the Pushcar Center. I mean, you're trying to get guys in the portal, out of the portal, what's going on, setting up recruiting visits. And if you need a great business phone system, I'm going to tell Rich when I see him. You know, Rich's wife, Rita, used to sell phone systems. Do you know that, Brad?
I did.
Yeah. Used to sell phone systems. So, in fact, many, many moons ago, we're over at the Greer building, right, Hoppy?
Mm-hmm.
Rita sold us our phone system
Sold
there.
to Dale Miller?
Sold to Dale Miller, yeah. So I'm going to talk to Rita. Back in the day, she's using analog phones. Right now, Comax, they will sell you digital phone systems for your business, anywhere from 1 to 1,000 phone lines. They can do it all. They'll come in, give you a free price quote, and basically assess what it is that you need in your business. Do you need this? Do you need that? How big do you want it to be? What kind of communication do you want to have with your folks out in the field? Visit ComaxWV.com. That's ComaxWV.com. You ready to do a little spreads on stats? By the way, we had a basketball game yesterday. Didn't even mention that yet.
Can I make an obvious? What's your stats going to be? Basketball, Brad?
Yeah, we're going to do some basketball next.
Okay. Here's my obvious observation about basketball. A very solid non-conference schedule. I mean, you take 9-2 all day. Low point, the Pitt loss. High point, obviously, when you guys were in the Bahamas. I mean, that was fantastic. So you take that all day. Second obvious observation is, of course, DeVries, Tucker continues to not play, and you can't imagine that he'll be back. And then Amani Hansberry getting an ankle early in that game yesterday, Tony. And I came out in the boot, maybe he'll be fine. But one of the things, Brad, that you've talked about a lot is that Darren DeVries runs good stuff, right? Runs good stuff. What happens when two of your best players are not available? What does that do to your stuff?
Harder to run good stuff.
Harder to run good stuff. So it's not just about that player not being there, which has a huge impact, but it, as Darren DeVries said after the game, candidly, it affects what you can run. The playbook, Brad, gets smaller.
Yeah, because your rotations are different than what you're used to. You're playing guys that aren't used to playing that significant of minutes, and their understanding of what you're trying to do is different than that guys have gone out. It is interesting. He does, man. I've said this before. It's not like he installs his offense and that's your offense all season. That thing is constantly changing and fluid, and they had a couple packages in yesterday. Won't go deep in the weeds on this, but Mercyhurst defends differently with rotations than most teams do. It's what leads them to some success. So Darren had some counters to those adjustments that Mercyhurst was going to make that ended up in a couple easy baskets yesterday. So it is fun to watch them when there's all that different offense and sets being put in.
And one of the concerns going into the season was about depth. Correct? I mean, that was a big one. It was a big one. And DeVries himself said after the game, if you're trying to run something and four guys know what to do and one doesn't,
it's a problem.
Yeah. So that ends my obvious observations.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. You ready, Brad? Mm-hmm. Hit it.
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater. Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
This is Spreads on Stats. The most highly sophisticated dive into the analytics of sport.
He's still working on it.
Known by human beings. This quantum computer that Brad has at his house, unbelievable.
AI.
Makes all those windmills in Tucker County spin even faster. Unbelievable.
Energy suck.
Yeah. He makes those Bitcoin miners look like just like pawns in what he's doing. Spreads on Stats brought to us by Conley CPA Group. Value beyond numbers is what they do. They can provide complete service, public accounting, and consultation. They serve clients throughout West Virginia and surrounding states. If you need help with your accounting, if you need help with maybe outsourcing your accounting or your chief financial services, they can do that. They can outsource CFOs as well. Take away the stress. Just get down to your business. Don't have to worry about hiring qualified accounting staff and deal with all that mess and turnover. Just give it to Conley CPA Group. They got you. All right, let's jump into the numbers. West Virginia victorious yesterday, 67-46 over the Mercyhurst Lakers. They call them the Lakers because they're located in Erie, Pennsylvania. Big lake, a lot of water, and making the transition.
In fact, it's a great lake.
It is a great lake. Jeff Lewis, former Mountaineer offensive lineman, strength coach.
Early 2000s.
For Mercyhurst. Yeah, good to see him.
Played for Rich, Hoppy in the early 2000s.
Ran into Rich in the motel yesterday.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. No, he did. Lewis did.
In the motel?
Yeah, in the motel. Yeah, in the motel. So it's good to see him. And they're transitioning from PSAC, Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference Division II, to Northeast Conference Division I. And West Virginia knocked them off 67-46. Mountaineers led comfortably at halftime and then took care of business in the second half of play. Brad, as you dug into the numbers, what did we see or what did you see that we didn't know when it was happening?
So we'll do a little bit of this on the fly because you're right. Still, numbers still maturing, Hoppy, with overnight as they're coming together here. Couple overall notes as non-conference comes to an end. West Virginia sitting 33rd in the net rankings today. So you drop a little bit with the win over Mercyhurst. You were 29th, but how about that for this group where it was with all of these new players, new coaching staff? We just talked about football in transition, and this team comes out and has itself positioned in the top 35 in the country after 11 games. 1, 2, 9 wins, as you mentioned, matches last year's season win total. You just matched last year's total in the non-conference portion of the season. Pretty good start.
Yeah, it could have been 10-1.
Yeah.
Well, don't get greedy. It's a great start. That's a great start.
It's a great start, but I'm just saying that Louisville game was right there for the day. You'd be 10-1.
But
now you don't know what would have
two.
happened in the third game, but you would have liked your chances, but you never know.
Boy, you are getting greedy.
So you take it. Yeah.
Take them.
2 out of 3 there.
Oh, dude, I'm with you.
All right.
Hop, you mentioned yesterday that as Darren talked about afterwards, sometimes when your lineups have to change, guys have to come in, your offense can bog a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what didn't bog?
Defense.
You know what should work all the time?
Defense.
How about this for a number? Mercyhurst yesterday was held, so only had 46 points, held to .73 points per possession. Okay?
Pretty good, yeah.
No, you said that wrong. You said 7.3 points per possession. What do you mean, .73?
.73, okay. So less than 3/4 of a point per possession for Mercyhurst. So some context, Hop, for you. If that were the season average for Mercyhurst, that'd be dead last in the NCAA's 364th.
Wow.
So, and it's one game sample. That's how good West Virginia's defense was yesterday. And we talked about it throughout the game. The ball pressure is what did that, whether that was Sincere Harris out front, whether that was KJ Tenor out front. Mercyhurst had such a hard time getting into its set, and it was a very deliberate offense. It runs good stuff as well. Takes a while to go through their offense. They weren't getting started till 2019-18 on the shot clock. Made it really difficult for that team to score. So a lot of credit to West Virginia's defense yesterday. Let's talk about some individual performances, and I think you have to start with Toby Okani. How about his game, Tony? 13 points, 12 rebounds for Toby yesterday. So he was back. We saw a 4-game stretch with Toby through Atlantis and then back to Georgetown when he was really good. He was getting himself in the lane, getting offensive rebounds, getting putbacks, grabbing defensive rebounds. He returned to that form yesterday. He was outstanding. That's the Toby you're going to need moving forward as you get into Big 12 play. He's a superior athlete, Hop, so you're going to need him to be inside on the glass helping West Virginia rebound. I thought he was great yesterday.
He was well focused. I saw him when I was walking out of shoot-around. I was a little concerned.
What reason?
Well, it was getaway day, right? All the kids went home after the game from the Coliseum. They left right from there. And he had his car plugged in. He drives an electrical vehicle. Mm-hmm. And he's got to go all the way back home, right?
Orange, New Jersey?
Yeah. And so, I mean, he had that baby. He had the charger in there going like, plus it's cold.
I give him credit. That was good attention to detail.
It was.
To have it ahead of time, not come out and go, oh my gosh, my car's not charged.
No, he was
on it.
That cold, like he gets up to Cumberland going over that hill. Those batteries, they don't operate as well as they do in July. You know what I mean? Anyway, go ahead.
Well, he was really good. How about Eduardo Andre in the middle? Hop, you mentioned Amani Hansberry going out 18 seconds into the game. That meant Eduardo was going to have to play some more minutes. And quite frankly, his size inside was probably the second biggest difference in the game beyond the defensive ball pressure. He altered shots, blocked shots, scored yesterday, 6 of 6 from the field, gave you 14 points, 6 rebounds. Also playing a big role yesterday, Harris Elizovich came in and really gave you some great minutes. 4 points. He was 2 of 2. So you were 8 of 8 out of your 5 position yesterday. Harris had 5 rebounds and 2 assists. How about you get 5 assists from your 5? Right? Both of those guys did a great job of kickouts, throw it inside. And Harris had a couple nice offensive moves there, which led to double teams having to come over when he caught the ball, and he kicked out for some baskets. So I thought Harris was really good as well. And, of course, you can't mention individual performances on this team without mentioning our guy Jake Auer. Just does what he does, Hoppy. Continues to come in, doesn't get a lot of shots, doesn't get a lot of warm-up time. The first couple of offensive possessions, West Virginia was running its motion. Jake wasn't necessarily available for an open look. I think the defense cracking down. They see Auer come in the game. They're going to be all over him, as Mercyhurst was. So Jake pulled an NBA move, just took matters into his own hands, skies, elevates. Well, I don't know how he can jump that. He was up there. That was Toby Okani-esque.
His hand almost hit the net.
He was way up. Elevates up, grabs the rebound, and just takes off himself. Just says, I'll handle it. Everybody get out of the way. I'll handle this. Takes it right up the floor, pulls up from about 25, bang, knocks his 3 in. A blistering 7 of his last 8 from 3 for Jake Auer, which, honest to God, that's remarkable. For a guy comes in, he's been sitting on the bench for 2 hours, and he comes in, he's 7 of his last 8.
People really got to start criticizing Darren for not for not giving Jake just opportunities. Just set him up at midcourt and just let him fire.
I do think there's some Jake Auer playing time coming in Big 12 play. We've said this
I do.
before.
I know.
There's
I think
some
situations-
spots where you put him in, and truly the other team's going to have to go, all right, we got to go out and guard.
Yes.
Because you leave him open. And again, I think the biggest benefit to Jake and this team is he is able to come in. He's on the floor for 35 seconds. That shot goes up. All right, here we go.
No, there are
So
situations.
there's spots where you can absolutely take advantage of that.
100%. They have to honor him because he can pull it 25 feet and in. I mean, he can go. So yeah, you're exactly right. There will be some spot situations they can put him in there.
Is he one of the emerging crowd favorites?
Oh,
There's no
absolutely.
emerging.
He's emerged.
He's there. He's emerged.
Okay.
Yeah, he's emerged.
He's emerged. Threw his headband or gave his headband away. Went back to the headband yesterday, gave that away after the game. Camden Quinlan, one of our big P1 listeners there, got the headband. Received
nice.
a picture of that yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was good.
I didn't know he went headband.
He alternates, which I was surprised to see yesterday because he hadn't gone with it, and he'd been blistering hot. Doesn't matter. Headband, no headband, still make shots.
No.
So he was good. Good performance yesterday by the fellas. Oh, by the way, Javon Small's so good, we just don't even mention him in individual performances anymore.
No need to.
19 points, 7 assists. He probably could have had 30 if he wanted. He just, again, controlled the game, did whatever he wanted. 19-7, didn't mention him.
Didn't even know.
It's a really
because
good,
because it's expected now, right?
I don't want to get over my skis.
Okay, but
I probably will.
okay.
Brad,
Mm-hmm.
think about past West Virginia guards who has had the ability basically to control the game the way that he does.
Well, you go way back. I think we mentioned before, like a Greg Jones. I mean, you got to go way back for him, but others.
Jawan controlled games, but it was different. His was like controlled it because he was so darn fast, right? He was just blistering speed. Javon just does everything. You haven't asked a point guard. This is what I'm trying to think of. You didn't ask Jawan to score at the rate Javon does, and in the manner in which Javon does, right? Jawan was more penetration, get to the basket, in transition, beat you down the floor. He was elite at getting to the basket. Javon goes to the basket as well, but he also can hit the mid-range. You also ask him to hit your threes. You also ask him to control the game in a pick and roll, which is a lot more prevalent than it's ever been. That's a hard one. I don't know that anybody pops right away.
When I say controls the game, it's like he literally he's playing with everything. He's playing with his guys, waiting for them to open, distributing. He's playing with opposing defenders. Like, I'm setting you up. I can get whatever I want when I want to get it. He's at a graduate.
the pace.
Yeah, he's at a graduate school level of control. He's at a graduate school level. Now, is he as athletic as Deuce? No, he's not as athletic as Deuce. But I'm just saying he's a seasoned guy that's played a ton of basketball, and he just has this comfort and control right now with what he's playing. There's no panic. He's playing. He's not even thinking. He's just playing.
Who was the pick and roll with in the game that I mentioned how he held the ball, he held the ball out front on the pick, and he was waiting for the roll, but he took like 2 extra dribbles on the roll to hold the hedge defender and allow the roll guy to get a little bit deeper,
Toby, I think.
distributed it to him for the bucket.
I think it was
So
Toby.
that's kind of your point to controlling what is happening. The other time he had that ball out front and he kept probing his defender. 3 different times he kept probing, trying to get the defender up, and the defender the first 2 times wasn't biting. Did it a 3rd time, defender goes up, there goes Javon right by him. Just the patience is tremendous.
Or over on the sideline, he draws a 3-point. He gets 3 foul shots because he gets that defender to reach across. As soon as he sees the arms come across, he rips them through, goes up for the shot. 3 shots.
Here's one number, Hop, to go back to the original point of lineup changes affect your offensive cohesiveness and how you operate. We had talked before about guarded versus unguarded catch and shoots, and West Virginia is just so good each game in getting itself unguarded catch and shoot jumpers, and a lot of that's just because of the ball movement, the high IQ of all these players of recognizing they might have a good shot, but there's a better shot over there, so I'm going to pass it. But here's something that's happened in the last couple games. Each of the last 2 games, West Virginia has had more guarded catch and shoot jumpers than they have unguarded. That's significant because that hadn't happened. They hadn't had more guarded shots in a game since November 8th against UMass, and it's happened in each of the last 2 games. So as we get into Big 12 play here, that's something you're going to have to watch, is the ability for Big 12 teams to come out and guard and have more able defenders on the floor at one time is going to be a challenge for this offense.
Boy, but now you're getting ready for a Bahamas the rest of the season.
Literally the rest of the season. Yes.
Yes, exactly what it is.
It's just
You're gonna
every
play,
night.
You're going to play 20 games in the Bahamas, but actually you're going to be in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what it's going to be.
I did this last game. I told you guys this. You went from the 4-game stretch from the Bahamas through Georgetown. If you go to the Ken Palm rankings, those are teams ranked between 6 and 66. Georgetown 66, which they should be higher. They're off to 2-0 in the Big East. So 6 to 66. You're now going to go into a 20-game stretch where you go as high as number 4 right now, and you go as low as Kansas State is 90, Oklahoma State is 104. That's it. And that's 1 game each with both of those. Everybody else is between 4 and 75.
What's KU right now?
8. So you're going to go 8, 104, 24, 77, 4, 5.
Rest up. You got to go to the Kansas.
So you've got 3 top 8s in your next 6 games.
Hello.
So here it goes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Go take your swings.
You're going to walk in. You're going to limp on back. Yeah. Take a shot.
Amani's ankle being okay is a
Huge.
major factor.
Yeah.
Huge.
Is he, I mean, probably okay?
Yeah, he is.
Is it, Darren said afterwards.
I
Yeah.
think it was one of those deals where literally, if he had to
Had
play
to,
yesterday, they
okay.
probably could have said that. But you had the athletics trainer, Randy Metter, come in.
Mm-hmm.
He gives you that coach conversation whisper. You know what those are, Brad, right? Like Randy comes in while game's being played, and the trainer comes in and he kind of. Coach gives you the nod.
Nod.
Okay.
Nod.
So
That's fine.
basically, he
Continue.
said if you had to use them, you could probably use them. If you don't need to, then I wouldn't do that. And so he'll be fine.
Okay.
He'll be fine. 3 Guys Before the Game is brought to us by. You done with the President Says?
Well, I've got a lot more, but yeah, let's.
You have a lot
Well,
more.
I mean, we could go for hours. That's a good synopsis of what we just saw.
Tough loss by the women's team.
Oh,
It was.
Up 16 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
ouch.
That'll make-
That's unusual for them.
Yes.
But other teams get to play too.
You're away from home, and you think you got it in the bag, and Colorado's got size, and it sounds like their size hurt West Virginia. And then West Virginia just didn't shoot it well.
And Colorado did down the stretch.
Oh.
I think 8 of 8, 8 of 9
I couldn't
to
miss
finish.
the end of the game. West Virginia went cold. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's tough. 3 Guys, Spreads on Stats brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. 3 Guys also brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit when you walk through the doors. And I know you're probably, food is huge during the Christmas season, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to eat breakfast. If you're traveling, going to, your family or something, you drive by, you see a Tudor's, by all means, yeah. You can go in there and buy yourself a camo cup, 24 ounces.
And if you lose yours, check with Tony.
Yeah, I'll have one for you. 24-ounce refill for the rest of your life. You walk in there, you get a refill for the price of a small coffee or an iced tea, which is kind of nice, we think. And Tudor's also, when you might as well, besides getting the mug, the travel mug, get yourself the Mountaineer biscuit. That's really good. Packed with country ham, egg, cheese, crispy hash brown. It was named the South's best biscuit this year and beat 32 other biscuit makers.
Beat them like they stole something.
Yeah, I said, oh, yeah, really? You think you got a good biscuit?
Bring
The
it
South's
on in.
best biscuit. That was voted by Garden and Gun magazine. And I would imagine they're going to do it again this coming March. That was the bracket. Just laughed, ran through them, just pounded people.
And if that biscuit doesn't come from the South,
It ain't no good, right? No one's ever said, hey, do you ever have a Wisconsin biscuit?
never.
With all due respect to
All due
Wisconsin,
respect, yeah.
right? So that's what we got. Tudor's biscuits, absolutely fantastic. You guys ready for a little healing?
Absolutely.
I think we should do a little healing. By the way, well, we'll get into that a little bit later on. Okay, let's do this thing. Textual Healing is brought to us by episode800.com. That's the website where you can visit and take a look and buy whatever you'd like that we sell. Mountaineer Roasting Coffee. I've been crushing that this weekend. My son Matt's in town.
Oh, great.
Yeah, drinks coffee like a fiend. He just rolls it.
What does that mean, like all day?
All day.
All day.
One of those guys, huh?
And Saturday afternoon, he said, "Hey, you make me an espresso shot?" I go, "Just the you want nothing mixed in?" He goes, "No, just shot, just a shot.
Pick up.
And make it a double." He said. Took one of those down.
In the afternoon.
3:00.
Does he sleep?
Like a charm.
He's young. Youth.
Young. Yeah. That's beside. Yeah.
Wasted on the young.
You know. I mean, that's in addition to the Shawshank prison workout program.
Yeah.
That he does.
Just jumps up on like the beams we have here.
Jumps
Hoppy,
up.
these
Remember when he used to
beams
work? Remember when he used to work here? He used to jump up on the beam and just start doing pull-ups.
Pre-production meeting, we'd be talking. He's just up there doing pull-ups on the beam.
Shawshank.
Get busy living,
Right,
get
because he
busy
had
dying.
19 shots of espresso in him. No wonder he was doing that.
Oh, boy.
You
Okay.
didn't have your game day grind this morning.
I haven't had any yet.
How is that? That is
Haven't had
shocks
any-
me.
Hadn't had any, yeah. I didn't. Well, I wanted to get here and make sure I didn't make you guys late.
Well, that was good.
You guys are busy. You got a busy day.
Busy
Oh.
day. Busy day.
We'll get into that. I don't know who sent us this, but thank you very much. I think it's the second time we received this. In my hand, I hold a Danish Kringle from Racine, Wisconsin. It was sent to us by the bakery.
We probably shouldn't have ripped Wisconsin then.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, but, well, I didn't rip the bank. I mean, they make the best Kringle. I just don't necessarily know if they make great biscuits. But anyway, they give these whole instructions. It comes from this family-owned bakery in Wisconsin, and they just sent it to us. They say Kringle is best served at room temperature. You can warm it up if you'd like, and we want you to love every bite. We are honored that customers choose us for their bakery and want your Danish delight to be perfect to the very last bite. If for some reason you're not satisfied, simply don't worry about that. We'll be satisfied. And there's a picture, a black and white picture of the family from many years ago when they used to make those things. And so I'm all for small businesses, having been raised in one. And so a fourth generation of family and bakers, we pledge to never waver in practicing time-honored scratch baking techniques that have been passed down. If you guys don't mind, they're having that cookie exchange here today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to put that in the oven and bake it and just say, "Hey, I made this."
Good idea.
All right. You guys ready?
Sure.
I think those are mine. Textual Healing. By the way, shout out boys, Star City Post Office.
Elite.
Those guys. They took care of Dave when he packages all the popcorn and sends it away.
They're busy now, too.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Put some of our popcorn out at a gathering on Saturday
Excuse
night.
me?
It's really good. Went fast, too.
Texter. Hey, three guys.
It's good.
I didn't even get any. You got Mountaineer Munch?
I got some.
I never even got any. I haven't gotten any Connection 304. Haven't seen that.
I can't find it.
Well, that'll
Well, if you
change.
guys would have just gone on the website and ordered it, you would have got it like I did.
Well,
You can't order beer.
You can't order beer.
No, the popcorn.
Yeah. So I got, by the way, that
Easy.
big beer announcement's coming. The big beer
You
announcement.
keep saying that. When is the announcement coming?
Maybe next show. Is that our last show before the new year? No, but in January, I'll just say this. All I'm saying is this. In January, Connection 304 will be brought to the state of West Virginia at a level never seen before.
Elite?
5-star distribution.
Would recommend?
Yes.
I
So,
hope you didn't overpromise that.
no, I think I feel good about it.
Level never before seen. Sure, he didn't overpromise that at all.
No, never.
Well, as you well know, a lot of times the stuff that we make, we can't produce enough
Well,
of.
that is true.
That has been a little bit of a continuing problem.
Yeah.
Like most times people create something and like they have too much of it. I got a warehouse full of these. We don't have that problem. We have like, where can you get this?
Demand has exceeded supply.
It's
Where's
in their
basic
book.
economics.
It's in your book.
You know what happens when demand exceeds supply?
You go out of business.
No, the price goes up.
Yeah. Well, we're not doing that.
Okay.
Hey, three guys, I thought that Hudson Clement would be a Mountaineer for life and a player that Rich Rod would love. If he's leaving, not only will we lose a great kid and a player, but the food court will have to find new entertainment. It's
Yep.
a sad day to be a Mountaineer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair
Texter
point.
says, I understand these kids transferring out. I get it. They have to do what they think is best for them, but it hurt me a little bit when I saw Hudson leave. That's a kid I thought could flourish in the new scheme, but he has to do what he thinks is best. Good luck to him wherever he lands.
We'll always be Huddy Clement and Clement family fans.
Great.
Absolutely. Pastor Holly from Elkview writes in, 3 guys.
Hello!
We haven't done that in a while.
I know.
My ears.
The only reason I did it because he put in parentheses, I missed Tony saying this. I was wondering.
Do we have the same text?
Yeah.
I don't know where he is.
Where you at, bud?
It's first page.
Did I
On
take-
page 1.
What happened? Oh, here. I took your first. No, I didn't.
Oh, you took to Brad's page?
Go ahead. I'll just listen.
Didn't-
I'll hang up and listen.
Didn't you didn't you get distribution in our pre-show meeting?
I don't know what I have. I have last show's text. I don't know what these are. Go ahead.
I was
As long as
wondering.
he's got them, we're good.
Do you have my comments from Saturday? Maybe that's what
as
you
long
have.
as he's reading them. So as
Okay.
long as he's got
All
them, we're good.
The pastor writes, I was wondering if there was ever been an athletics director that has shaped West Virginia athletics more than Ren Baker, hiring both football and basketball head coaches, women's basketball, volleyball, men's soccer, perhaps even counting the change in the baseball program. He's navigating NIL, conference realignment, the portal, and revenue share. Personally, I'm glad we will have Ren in charge. Back to the question, have we ever had an AD that shaped West Virginia athletics more than Ren? Signed by Pastor Holly, Elkview.
That's an interesting question. 2 things about that. One is, actually, I think you go back to Dick Martin, frankly. I know that there was some issues there. It wasn't the most popular AD, but new stadium hired Don Nealon.
Yeah, that works.
I mean, that worked. And as a side note, I ran into Shane Lyons Saturday at the Coliseum.
Daughter graduated this weekend.
Had a nice chat with him.
Yeah.
I said, how are things at the Alabama? He's doing well.
Ren has absolutely inherited some situations since he has arrived.
A couple fastballs, couple curveballs.
Ren's legacy is certainly will be on display here with some serious hires. Ed passed along, obviously, with some massive hires.
Yes.
Hired Rich, hired Beeline, hired Huggins.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. You stack that up with about anybody that's been in that position. So Ed certainly
Point
major
of
impact.
clarification. Ren didn't hire Stratford, right? Shane hired Stratford?
Shane.
I think Shane hired Stratford,
Yeah, Shane hired Stratford. Or actually, let's get down to the fact. Hoppy
Yeah.
Well,
hired Stratford.
yeah, I had influence in this athletic department, hiring of him.
Hey, 2 guys and the doctor. I had a question for the senator and the doctor. What exactly do you 2 do when you say you're calling bowl games? I'm curious because it might be something I'd be interested in listening to. Hope all is well. Merry Christmas.
Brad?
Hoppy and I, for 15-ish, I don't even know what the number is, 15, 16 games, are part of bowl season radio, the national radio broadcasts of those bowls. So Hoppy and I do pregame hosting duties and halftime duties of those 15 or 16 or 17 or 35 bowl games, however many we have.
We have 2 today.
And they're produced out of Morgantown, so those guys go across town. Even though you could use the studio, well, I guess you couldn't use the studio because there's things going on, but they do them across town. And then so are you guys putting the production in here?
Yeah.
The spots are all done out of here?
Yeah.
So they're being produced in Morgantown, but they're coming, like, for example, what do you have today? What's your first bowl game today?
Today, first game, Myrtle Beach Bowl at 11 a.m. Eastern Monday, and then that rolls into the famous Idaho Potato Bowl at 2:30 coming up. So there's two different games today we'll have.
Outstanding.
Saturday, we have like 5 or 6 games, and Mike Parsons is the executive producer, and I don't know how we're doing that.
I think we do have, it's 5, I think.
Yeah, and I have no idea how we're doing that.
I'm available. I'm not doing it.
Are you?
Yeah,
Would you jump in there?
This Saturday?
Yeah.
Literally, I looked at my calendar like I got nothing
It's
this
a
week.
stunner right now.
I'm kind of like I'm jonesing a little
So
bit.
you were almost on your own.
Come on in.
I'm not doing 5 games.
I'll
That'll be
come
fun.
in there and
That'll be
say
fun.
halftime.
That's what it is. I feel like it's the NFL shows to just like cue the guys, just go. We just go.
We just go.
Yeah, have a great time.
Talk football.
Yeah.
Speaking of Myrtle Beach, congratulations to our own Doc Hoppywood. Take the picture. There you are. There's our boy. Oh, there's our boy Hoppy. Who's the other guy?
They framed that diploma for you there?
Yeah, already framed.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's a heck of a deal.
Already framed. It was really nice.
That's pretty cool.
So
That's
my comments, I said that I'm a radio talk show host, and you probably shouldn't put me in front of a microphone.
Solid.
But I said, I've been told to keep my comments to 2 minutes, and I'm 1 minute in.
See ya.
People appreciated that. No one ever says, what do I say, Tony?
No one ever says, geez, I wish you would have spoke longer.
Right.
Ever. I've already gone on that rant before. I'll do it again.
What do you mean?
Here's my rant.
Okay.
If you ever put into a situation in public where you're asked to speak, don't speak long. If they say 6 minutes, it's 6 minutes. Get your ass off the stage.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason. People that go on and think, this is the worst thing you could ever see in a situation when you get in a public speaking event. Someone walks to the podium and goes like, well, I haven't written anything down here. You just go like, oh, Lord, here it comes, and start your clock. Be thoughtful of the other people. Just do what they tell you to do. Get off. I literally start a timer. When they say 5, I'm off. See you. Ain't got nothing else.
I did too.
Good.
Now, that doesn't apply to this program.
No, it's a podcast.
As we just go.
You turn her off whenever you want. Hey, 3 guys, I'm going to keep this short.
Speaking of which.
I've been seeing a lot of talk on message boards about the players transferring out being soft or afraid of hard work. I think that is nonsense and unfair to these guys. You don't get to be a group of 4 a player by being soft or afraid of hard work. It's disappointing to see them leave, but they gave their best to West Virginia while they were here, and in the circumstance, we should thank them and wish them well. Signed by Chad in Rochester. I agree with you.
Good take, Chad.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
You can't play this game if there is any softness in you. So I totally agree. Now, there's different ways to skin a cat. And Rich's is at the end point of being aggressive, and it's a whole mindset. And I was thinking about that when I saw that text. Like, there's the military, right? But there's different levels of the military. There's basic training, and then there's special forces. You're still in the military, but the special forces dudes do a little bit. You have a little different headspace. I think, Rich, that he prides himself on those guys being tough. He prides himself that practice will be so hard that games will seem like a relief. So,
Well, DeVries works his guys hard, right, Brad?
Very.
very hard. Texter says, shortest day of the year is technically in March, when we set the clocks ahead an hour and the day is 23 hours. But today marks the least amount of daylight or smallest gap between sunrise and sunset. Winter solstice. That was probably the 21st.
Which was when? Yeah, that was
21st.
Friday.
21st.
Is that right? 20th, 21st?
So there's a lot of sun out today. We're good. Past the worst of it. Here we go.
Days are getting longer.
Days are brighter.
Spring drill's coming up.
Can't wait.
We record on Monday. On Tuesdays at our good friends Gomart, you get triple rewards points.
Excuse me?
What day?
That's right. So tomorrow is 24 of December. So if you're making your travels to folks, relatives, wherever you're traveling, stop at a Gomart.
Christmas Eve.
Use your Gomart rewards card, and you get triple the points.
Brad, you need gas tomorrow?
No, I'm actually filled up right now.
Okay. Need to check on
Thank you for checking.
Yeah, sure.
So Gomart.
Text me in the morning, see if I've had breakfast yet.
All I'm saying is this. By the way, going back to that beer thing in January,
Yeah.
Gomart will play a major role. Major role. You can use your Gomart rewards card to get our beer. I'll tell you that much. Put that on there.
Which will be the greatest distribution of beer in the history of the world. Is that what he said?
At ever.
Any beer ever in the history of the world. That's what you're saying?
It'll be ubiquitous.
Good word.
Thank you.
When triple points are when?
Tuesdays through the end of the year. So a couple more weeks, 8 more days.
So what's the beer thing?
Because I think you can get your Mega Millions ticket there too, can't you? Isn't that thing like at $4.3 billion?
Mm-hmm.
Some outrageous number.
Mm-hmm.
You can get triple points gas and go and get your Mega Millions.
How much would you want to win in the lottery?
All of it.
Really?
Yeah, at some point it becomes a hassle, I would think.
Hey, by the way, quick shout out here because we're talking about Gomart, and we got some treats yesterday. You got some M&Ms, I think.
Oh, yeah.
You
What
did.
now?
Yeah, I got some. Fred McPherson dropped off a big giant sleeve of Reese peanut butter cups.
Saw that.
So I was gonna say, if you weren't fortunate enough that Fred handed out peanut butter cups, so you can go to Gomart.
Hoppy,
Get
there's-
some of those.
There's a gentleman that twice this basketball season has already done this. He comes over my shoulder, He just keeps moving and just drops a 2-pound bag of peanut M&Ms on the table. Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
And you show great discipline.
Oh, I don't need them during the year. No, I couldn't do that. No,
Right.
do not.
Good
that.
job.
Anyway, thank you, Fred.
Thank you. Scope Senator Dr. Dean.
Wait, when's that triple points?
Tuesdays at GoMart. Go for good times. Go for GoMart. Download the GoMart app to get the rewards card, or just go to GoMart.com. With the talk about staff, Rich Rod is going to retain, along with all the portal discussion, guys leaving, recruiting of the portal. One name we haven't heard much about is the football GM, Drew Fabianich. Is he still on the staff? Is it known if Rich Rod is leveraging the work he's done? Speaking of staff, with the reported $7.5 million being made available for staff, what salaries does that cover? On-field coaches that recruit, other on-field coaches, strength staff, GAs, staff, administration. Who does that money have to cover? Merry Christmas to you and yours, Dougie in Winfield. Everything. I mean, staff is staff, so it all goes under the football budget. And I think, like Hop said, Rich wants to, I think when he was on, he said by January 1 or 2, he'd like to have the staff done.
Sounds about right.
He's got guys that he's conversating with that are playing games this coming weekend, which is 27, 28. So I think it all comes together. I would say this, that there's going to be the strong majority will depart that are currently on staff. There'll be a handful that will be retained, but for the most part, it's cycling through. I do think there's going to be some names that you remember from Rich's past that will be coming back in. Texter, hey, 3 guys, Jake, originally from Preston County, currently live West Texas. Is it more likely that Jake Auer hits double-digit threes this season, or Sincere Harris finishes with more threes than Jake by the end of the year?
Well, I think Jake's going to get double-digit threes. I do think Sincere's day is coming. A couple more shots at it yesterday that looked like a couple of those looked like they were going to fall. He'll get a couple here. Sincere will just needs some confidence. We've said before, Sincere can shoot at 90% from the free throw line. He's going to get a couple to drop.
I agree. Charlie from Midlothian. Hoppy, or should I say twice Dr. Kercheval. I got my always a West Virginia connection this past week when I went to see Rob Alsop's sister, who's my optometrist for my annual checkup. We spent the first 10 minutes of the visit catching up on Mountaineer sports. She indicated she was going to go to the Mercyhurst game. She played in the Pride of West Virginia, and she was impressed when she met Tony when the two of you had a chance while you were walking your dogs, and you were able to rattle off the 3 bowl games in which she participated in with the band. Merry Christmas, guys.
Surprised you remember those.
Well, like I said, I can do that. I couldn't tell you where I was last week.
Oh, okay.
Tony, we've gained 3 minutes of daylight. Yay, only 87 days until spring. Well, that's coming quick. Has anyone impressed upon Coach DeVries and company the noise and the cacophony of Allen Fieldhouse? I'd hate for them to be caught unaware, a la the Pitt game. Love the show. P1 listener Nancy from Martinsburg. Oh, he knows.
Well aware.
He knows what he's going to get into. I haven't asked him. Would they ever go there with Creighton?
I have not asked him that.
Texter, Merry Christmas, 3 guys. Joe Mock in Leander, Texas.
We're big in Texas, aren't we?
Huge. As a P1 listener, I hear all of the fantastic content on the podcast, and I want all 3 of you to know how much I appreciate the special gifts each of you bring to each episode. To Hoppy, congratulations on your upcoming retirement. I'll be retiring myself in 2025 after 38 years in the insurance industry. I'll be taking notes on how you pull it off. You know, my sister's late father-in-law was Boz Johnson.
One of the greats.
As news director at WSAZ in Huntington for decades, president of the NAB, he considered the dean of TV news in West Virginia. Hoppy, your contributions to the state, I love, stand right there with Boz. God bless you for all you've done. By the way, April and I actually enjoyed the Frisco Bowl despite our historically dreadful defense. I was repping 3 guys at the game, as you can see in the picture. There he is. There's Joe. We're in a 3 guys.
Oh, awesome, Joe.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
He's there at Toyota. It looks like he was at Toyota Stadium at that point.
He was, yeah.
Outstanding. Thank you, Joe. Merry Christmas to you and to April.
Tony Boz Johnson was one of the greats, one of the premier broadcast news people of all time in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Isn't it interesting that you're the premier radio guy and you have a weird name, and Boz also had a unique name, Boz and Hoppy.
It
wasn't like Bob and Tom.
It's anecdotal, not scientific. Accident.
Hey, you want to be real good? Get a unique name. Texter, first time. I've been an avid listener since day one, and when my wife surprised me with tickets to the Mercyhurst game, I knew I wanted to try and meet Tony and Brad. I listened to every episode on my 1 hour and 40-minute commute to work. You guys didn't disappoint. Thank you both for being so approachable and getting our pictures made with myself and daughter Mia. You're truly a class act. On the way back to our seats, I ran into none other than Coach Rich Rod.
Hey.
Oh,
and the
Rich
cherry on the cake was a Mountaineer victory. Things looking up in hoops and football. Truly excitement in the air. Love the show. Keep up the great work. There they are. There's some pictures. There's Mia, right? And then I think did he run into they were at a football game. That was not last night. And then did he get his picture with Rich? There. Oh, yeah, there's Rich.
Rich was there yesterday. I didn't see him.
Yeah. Looks like Rich has made it to the equipment room. He got re-geared up.
He's all set. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice talking to Chris. And Mia headed to the Air Force.
Going to the Air Force.
Oh, yeah. Outstanding.
I still think he says we still need to give the Flatwoods Monster a little more airtime, too, even though Brad doesn't want to. Yeah, he started bringing up the Flatwood Monster. He's got people that know the Flatwood Monster. I think he used to have dinner with the Flatwoods Monster or something like that, didn't he? Was that what he was saying?
I'm ignoring you.
Chris May, Princeton, West Virginia, originally from Braxton County. There you go. Last text. Good morning, gentlemen. So happy to hear you received your poinsettias.
Yes.
Brad, let me know if your still is MIA. I can locate it through the tracking device on the flying WV. Just kidding. But I did want to get, now you did get your poinsettia.
Thanks to you. You found it. It is displayed proudly in our house. Thank you, Dono.
But I did want to give you a quick history on the poinsettias. About 20 years ago, I came across a post on social media from Mary's Greenhouse in Elkins. My father, Johnny Olashuk, called and placed an order. He drove to Elkins from Weirton now, picked them up. After his passing, I would order them, and my niece, who worked at Ruby, would make the drive to Elkins to pick them up. Now, for the last 5 years, I meet Larry, the owner, in Morgantown when he makes his deliveries to town. Larry is a one-man operation. He grows these poinsettias, pots them, loads them in a delivery truck, and delivers them all over the state. I know how much you guys appreciate West Virginia businesses. Please send a shout-out to Larry from Mary's Greenhouse in Elkins. Merry Christmas, three guys. Donna, Owen, Weirton.
Well done, Larry.
Thanks, Donna.
Well, thank you. Those are beautiful poinsettias. And Mary's Greenhouse, no doubt, if you're in Elkins, you're near the 4-lane in Beverly. Because everything revolves around the 4-lane in Beverly. Got a business? It's at the 4-lane in Beverly.
You'll find it.
You'll get there.
Hey, one last shout out, and I've got something to come clean about.
Oh,
Screwed up.
Excuse me?
yesterday.
What?
I screwed up.
Oh, I like these when you screw up.
Well, first of all, shout out to Brian Thornton, VP of men's basketball for the Big 12 Conference.
He was next to you there.
Sat right next to us there at the scores table. Enjoyed talking to him, catching up with him. Total missed opportunity.
Oh.
Total missed opportunity.
Where'd he go? Wartburg?
No, Xavier. He was a heck of a player at Xavier. Played professionally in Germany. He's
Okay.
then coached, then got into administration. Was the commissioner of the WAC for a while before joining the Big 12. Yeah, great. Really enjoyed him.
You going time zone?
Good basketball guy. I totally yacked it.
Oh,
I totally yacked it. We had a Big 12 guy sitting 6 inches from me.
Come on, Brad. My
Had a
goodness.
great conversation with him. Talked hoops.
We'll see him
Could
again.
have just easily said, "Hey, Brian, can you help us out with something here?"
We'll see him again. No, they've been doing better, haven't they?
Better.
Yeah.
It's been better. I don't know that it's been
Well, Brad,
perfect, but better.
what you
but
did
I had
with-
to turn. My
Well,
fault.
hang on
I'm
a
sorry.
second. Hang on a second.
I messed that up.
Hang on. In your defense, you established a relationship. You built the groundwork. You didn't want to like blow them up right there.
Oh, I
thank
would
you.
have.
Maybe
I
that's
would
fair
have.
point.
Well, you would have, Tony,
I would've.
but you would have. So, Brad, next time you see him, he'll say, "Hey, Brad, how you doing? Good to see you." And then it will come up more organically.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
I still think I should have brought it up.
You know, it's also funny, Hoppy, since Brad's now into this basketball thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping him out a little bit.
What do you mean?
So, like, before a game starts, I'll go like, "See these officials?" I'll point to him. I'll say, "You see this one here?" I said, watch this. During the course of the game, he'll make 2 calls at least. They'll make you go, turn your head and look at me like, what the that? How good was that yesterday? Did we have 2? Told you.
That is it. That's like an added dimension of basketball, which is different somewhat. I mean, there's some of that in football, but it's more so in basketball.
It is way so in basketball. I had been out of that world for a number of years. Yeah. We used to spend hours. Who you got tonight? Who's the officials? What's our record? How you do? Now he's got me back in. Now I'm leaning over to him going, who you got tonight? What's on that sheet? Who's the officials tonight?
You know which ones are still a little bit green and the game will get a little bit too big for them and they'll fold. You know the ones that won't blow their whistle. You know the ones that try to become bigger than the game. You can just see it coming.
Mountaineer Joe Mazzulla had a little issue with the official the other night.
You haven't seen that very much from him, that fiery nature. You haven't seen that as you've seen that as player Joe Mazzulla. You haven't seen that much as coach, and I'm not sure at all as the Celtics head coach.
Yeah. Cool. He went Old Testament.
That was old school Joe.
Yeah,
I kind of liked it.
It cost him a
$35K.
Yeah.
Somebody going to pay for that.
Yeah, you'll have that.
No, it was a loss. It was a disappointing loss, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. Maybe he was trying to do something for the team. Who knows? Whatever.
They hadn't seen that before.
They got it now. The nerves have been getting a little raw in the NBA. Steve Kerr last week on that, they called a loose ball foul on guys just jumping on the ground trying to get a ball. It was a bad call, and things are touchy. They're playing.
So what are you saying? It was 2 bad calls in that game yesterday?
Just like, what? Where did that come from? What did you do all that?
Overall, fine. Didn't affect the game.
Oh, yeah, it didn't affect the game. Those are fine.
Now it's going to get tight.
Yeah, it's going to get real. That's fine. Just play the game. Okay,
Let's go play.
So it's the 23rd. So we have another production meeting. Let's do another production meeting. You guys good for what? Thursday, Friday? What do you want to do?
We got situations. Just play the music and we'll do it afterwards. Play the music.
People want to know.
That's what I always say. Follow the show.
Hoppy, you working?
He'll just show up.
I'm here the whole time.
You're here this week?
No, he doesn't even know his schedule, so I got to keep track of his schedule too and mine. He doesn't even know what he's got to do. That's why this is going to be a longer conversation. Wrap it. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll talk to you later this week.
Let me ask you this. Are we going to do another one this week?
We're efforting.
I'm not sure.
I got a bad week. Unless you guys got some Japan Bowl, we can always do it.
I guarantee we do have a Japan Bowl.
In the 8 in the morning.
Efforting.
Special thanks to our producer, Jake.
Hong Kong Bowl.
Producer, Jake. Did you see Aaron, by the way? You didn't see Aaron yesterday at the game. Aaron from Africa.
Oh, no, I did. Was he there?
He was there.
Well, where was I?
Wanted to say you're big time in it with people getting, I don't know what you were doing there, but it was great to see Aaron.
I was bummed out I didn't see Aaron.
Yeah.
I always like to see him.
He was there. I mean, a guy drove all the way from Africa to see you.
Budapest Bowl.
When's that triple points at Gomar?
Tuesdays. 3 guys before the game, brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart. Get a Gomart rewards card at triple points tomorrow, Tuesdays. Gomart.com for details. Visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Can't wait for the Armada to bring the new coaches into Morgantown, up the Mon River. Probably stop over at the Hazel Ruby McQueen Amphitheater. Let them off right there. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. They're fantastic. Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. And Conley's CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. So thanks to producer Jake. I think we had Jumpin' Jack was in there too.
Is Jack in there?
Jack
went backside as well. He's in on Christmas break. It's just a holiday season. In all seriousness, have yourself a wonderful, enjoyable Christmas holiday season with your family and your friends. We'll be back at some point, probably. See you.